Hello, I'm Mr. B-Bates1 and welcome back to another how-to video. In today's video, we are going to be looking at structure blocks and the new structure command. Now, I did a video about how to import structure blocks in between worlds some time ago, and it was a very popular video. A lot of people liked it. Now, we recently had an update. It's now 1.16.200 and things have changed. Now, I've had quite a few people leave comments on my old video saying, do an update, a new video, man. We need to know the new stuff. So, here it is. Here's the new update. Now, first of all, though, this export method I'm showing you, this only really works for Windows 10 and Android, I do believe. From what I understand, the other Bedrock games, iOS, Xbox, PlayStation, stuff like that, they don't actually allow you to export structures onto the file system. And obviously without that ability, you can't swap between worlds. So please do remember that. This is just for Windows 10 and Android. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Here we are in my testing world. Now, I've had this for actually quite a while. At some point I built this. This is like just a bunch of little nether portals. I've got another one over there. And they never really got used. They were just designs I was going to use at some point, and they haven't. Now, if you remember this guy, before the Piglin update, this was the guy that was associated with the nether. And I believe we had a nether portal made just to sort of show that. Now, I want to use this in another world. So I've decided, let's use this. Now, first of all, we are going to need to give ourselves a structure block. Now, we still have to actually use structure blocks themselves to import out the game, import structures out of the game, because the command itself, from what I can tell, doesn't actually allow you to do that. You can only save and load things, and that's things that were already in the game. You can't use that in another world anywhere. So let's first of all give ourselves the necessary command block. So it's just give @s being ourselves, and then we'll do structure block. It's just like so, and you can just press enter or OK here. And there we go, we've got our structure block. Let's place our structure block down. And if you notice, when it first gets placed down, it creates a bounding box. Now, one thing to note is that when you come to spawn your structure in a new world, the placement of this will make a difference. Now, at the minute, obviously, we're going to provide coordinates to that structure anyway inside the box, and this bounding box will change to that. But when we spawn it back in again into another world, this is always going to be in the back left corner of the creation. So in this case, this is the back left corner. So when you spawn it in, it's going to spawn in from there, coming outwards like so. So this is the structure block interface. As you can see, when you very first come in here, it'll be like this. And as you can see, we haven't got what we need there. So we need to put in some conditions over here. So I already know the coordinates, so I can just put in all the details straight away. And as you can see, the bounding box there is actually changing to go with it. Now, as I change the conditions, you'll see the bounding box there will change as well. And there we go. Now, first of all, you may notice this. This seems to be a visual glitch. I don't know if that's anything to do with the new Render Dragon engine. It was always dodgy anyway, even before that in the preview. Don't worry though, all the blocks do get moved with it. There isn't an issue with that. So first of all, then we need to give this a name. So I'm going to call this the Pigman Portal. We want to go down and make sure include entities are on, remove blocks is off, and the rest of it doesn't really matter there. So from this, we click export, and this is going to want us to export it. So we'll just leave it there, Pigman Portal structure. We'll export it to our desktop. If you're on a mobile device, obviously just somewhere where you'll be able to get to it. And there we go. Our Pigman Portal has now been exported from this world. It is now ready to be imported into another world. So let's go and let's see how we can then import it using the new command and the structure block. So we're going to create our new world then. So I'm just going to use a template that I have here. And we're just going to call it structure blocks. I'll just turn multiplayer off, make sure nobody joins me. Now, one of the things that I will do here is that I am going to add a pack of mine called structure imports. Now, if you watch my other video, you may already be aware of this. You do need to set up a certain folder structure in order for the game to recognize structures and for you to then be able to place your structures into that folder so that you can then import it into the game. Now, if you don't have programming knowledge, you might not know how to do this. So I have provided a structure imports pack. There is a link for it in the description below. basically you can just literally just launch it. It should launch directly into Minecraft, and it should come into packs here. And then whenever you go to create a new world, you can go down to your behavior packs, find it, and just click activate. It does come up with the usual warning, obviously. Adding packs to the world will stop you from earning achievements. I mean, this is a custom world anyway, there's no achievements on it. And as you can see now, the structure imports pack is here. So the first thing we need to do then is just spawn into the game. So let's just launch that. Now the reason why we do this is just so it creates all the folder structures and everything we need. Whoa, that's a very high spawn point. Okay, so we're now in a blank world. Now we need to exit Minecraft and shift our structured file that we want to import. So here we are. We are now on my desktop. So the file that we exported before is here, pigmanportal.mcstructure. This is the one that we placed on our desktop. And I already have a shortcut to it on my desktop here. But essentially, if you're on a Windows 10 user, you need to navigate to this location. So it'll be C, users, the name of the user, obviously, my name's Bobbins, Bobby, or Mr. BBates1, whichever you want to call me. App data, local packages, the Minecraft folder, local state, and games. Now, if you're on Android, the bit that you will see will be .com, Mojang, and then blah, 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 whatever folders we go on from there. On Windows 10, it is there. So once you navigate to there, you should see a bunch of folders just like so. If we look for the Minecraft Worlds folder, and we go into there, it should list all the worlds that you have created on that device. Now you need to go into each folder and you need to look for the folder that you want to bring your imported file into. Now the easiest way to do that is just to open up the level name.txt, and as we can see here it says structure blocks. We know that this is the world. Now if you're on Windows 10 you can filter by date modified and it will put the most recent world at the top. I don't know if you can do that on a mobile device, but that's what you can do on the Windows. Now under the folder behavior packs you will then find the folder structure imports. So this is the mod of mine that creates from there. And then you'll find a folder here called structures. Now at the minute, I've actually got a bunch of structures already predefined in my structures import file. So as you can see, Pigman Portal is already there, and we have a bunch of other stuff here as well, which we'll actually see more of those in my upcoming episode, which you'll hear more about very, very soon. But in this instance, we are going to be using the Pigman Portal structure that we created here. So all you do is you copy your file from your desktop into the structures folder and you are ready to go. One thing you need to remember is that in order to use this, I've had a few comments to me say, oh, it won't let me load it. The load button is grayed out and things like that. If the load button is grayed out, it's because Minecraft hasn't been shut down correctly. It needs to fully shut down. It doesn't just leave the game, leave the world. You have to fully close it down and then reopen it again. And then by doing so, the structure then does become available to use. So if we now load Minecraft back up again, let everything just sort of refresh, and then we go back to our structure blocks world, and here we are again back in our world. So the same thing applies again. You can either give yourself a structure block or you can use the brand new structure command to spawn in the item. Now there is no a benefit from using one over the other. It's just entirely up to you how you feel. If you want to use the structure block, you can do so. If you want to use the command, you can do so. To be honest with you, I think the command side of it is more for map making and game making and stuff like that, where you might have predefined structures and things you want to be able to spawn in at certain points. However, we will cover the command if you do like to use the commands more than the actual interfaces themselves. So in order to use the actual structure block command, you type in structure. This is our first element of the command. Now there, as you can see, as I mentioned before, there was only load and save. There's no export. So if you are exporting, you can only do that via the command block. But via the command itself, you can load or save an item in. So in this instance, we want to load in a structure. Now I want to bring this. I'm not going to be crazy. I'm just going to bring this at spawn 0, 16, 0. That's the level and the center of the world here. Oh, hang on a sec. No. Made a mistake. Let's go back. I forgot we need the name first. So in this instance, we called it Pigman Portal, just like so. And then we do this. Now rotation, depending on how you want it, this is a bit tricky to work out because whichever way your building is facing in the other world will be its original sort of spawn position. So if you've got it facing north and then you spawn it into a new world, it's going to be facing north still. So this feature here, this next sort of bit of the command, will actually allow you to rotate it in a different direction. So if you want it to face east, west, whichever. But the problem is that you need to know how much to rotate it by. Now, if you're facing north and you know that you want to face east, then obviously you're going to have to work out that you need to turn it 90 degrees in order for it to go that way around. Now, it's hard to determine which way that is without spawning it in first and then figuring out what it is, and then you might have to remove the building and respawn it back in again. There is a bit of fiddling around with it, unfortunately. There is no precise science to it. For the time being, I am just going to leave it at its original position. Now, for the mirror, this is so you can spawn in more than one, I believe. So if you want to mirror the structure in another place at the same time, you would set another set of coordinates for the mirror. As you can see, X, Z, and so on, and it will mirror the same building or the same structure elsewhere. In this instance, we're not going to use this feature for this. The next thing is include entities, which, depending on whether you've got entities or not, I mean, I just click true anyway. It doesn't really make any difference. And I click true on the last one as well, which is about removing blocks and things like that here. Now we are ready to spawn this in. All we've got to do is just press enter. Boom. And now, as you can see there, loaded a structure of the name portal, Pigman portal. Now remember I said it spawns in from the corner here. So as you can see, this is 0, 0. This is where we told it to spawn in. And as you can see, it's there, and it's gone out that way. And that's how you do it using the command. Now, if you want to do the command block, then obviously it's exactly the same thing. Command is what we did before. Give yourself the structure block. And then you can place it down again, you noticed in the bottom corner there. So we go to load, Pigman portal. One of the other things to note as well is that it is case sensitive. So if you type Pigman portal in lowercase, it won't load it. The load button can be grayed out for that reason as well. But you'll know if it's worked because when you press enter here, you'll suddenly get a bounding box. You'll get sort of like my structure ... sort of appended to the beginning of the name, and you'll notice the load button is available. So in this instance, I'm going to go to 0. Now, at the moment, obviously, that's still facing the same way. So again, using the actual structure block itself, you can change the rotation, and as you can see, the bounding box does turn with that. In fact, we'll just bring it in like so, and then we'll load. And as you can see there, we've now turned it this way instead. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you spawn structures in between your worlds using the new structure command or structure blocks. And I just sort of point out the rotation thing. You know, I glossed over it. I sort of said, you know, oh, you can set the rotation here. That's actually new. That's a new feature. In the previous video I did on this, you couldn't rotate it. Whatever way you built it was the way it came in, and you were stuck with it, and that was it. So this rotation feature is obviously a brilliant, brilliant feature. And you would have also noticed as well, there was another line in the load structure part of the command. And this other line that was there was to do with actually animating the structures as they come in. Now, for the purpose of this video, this is just for bringing in structures, you know, for whatever reason you might want to keep a build that you made and stuff like that. So the animation feature of that is not really necessary. So I'm not going to cover that part in the video today, but I will cover that. Now, in the new series that's coming up, I might actually use this animation feature to bring something in because it is really, really cool to mess around with. So do keep an eye out for that, and remember to keep checking for when that comes out, because that is actually coming out very, very soon on the 18th of December. Anyways, thank you very much for watching my video. Please remember to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you all guys next time. Bye.